40 minutes before the college entrance exam was set to begin, my fiancé knelt at the entrance to the test center and told me his mother had drunk pesticide. He said that I was the only one who could convince her to keep living. When I arrived at the township health center, she was sitting by the back door eating a popsicle. More than 30 years later, her fiancé had become a well-known entrepreneur, and in his autobiography he wrote, "My ex-wife thought I was too poor, so she left me after I took the college entrance exam. No one knows that I took care of his mother, raised his children, and even wrote half of his autobiography for him, yet in the end, my name wasn't even mentioned." When he opened his eyes again, he found himself kneeling at the entrance to the same test center. The public address system began urging test takers to take their seats. I walked around him and handed my admission ticket to the security guard. "If your mother really drank the pesticide, call the police. I'm not a doctor." As Zhao Mingchuan knelt down, there was a soft rustle at the knees of his pants. "The fabric is too new. It still has a stiff finish. I didn't pay attention to these things in my past life." At that moment, all I could think about was what he had said. "Suhee, my mom drank some pesticide. She said that if you dare set foot in the exam room today, she'll kill herself right in front of you." I hadn't even put my admission ticket away yet, and I ran all the way down Chili Mountain Road with him. When I arrived at the Township Health Center, Zhao Guifan was sitting by the back door eating a popsicle. When she saw me, she first hid the popsicle behind her back, then, with tears in her eyes, said that she had indeed intended to take the poison, but changed her mind at the last minute because she worried no one would take care of her son in the future. I believed it. Or rather, I dare not disbelieve it. The college entrance exams have already begun, and there's no turning back for me. Zhao Mingchuan hugged me and comforted me. "It's okay. It's no use for a woman to study so much. Once I make some money, I'll make sure you live a good life just the same." He did make money. Thanks to the ad copy, speeches, product descriptions, and customer replies I wrote for him. Meanwhile, I had strained my eyes working in the kitchen, and just before I died, I heard a nurse say that Mr. Zhao's new book was selling very well. The book is titled "Opportunities Won't Wait for You." I wrote that line, too. Now, I'm standing once again at the entrance to Lonjiang County No. 1 High School on July 7, 1998. The admission ticket in the palm of my hand had already been softened by sweat. Zhao Mingchuan knelt before me, his face still looking just as it did when he was 20. He had thick eyebrows and bright eyes, and when he got flustered, the veins on his temples stood out more clearly than anyone else's. A crowd had already gathered around. "Isn't that Su Changshan's daughter? Has the Zhao family already arranged a betrothal? If her future mother-in-law drinks pesticide, will she still have to take the exam?" Zhao Mingchuan grabbed my wrist. "Suhee, please, I'm begging you. My mom is foaming at the mouth and keeps calling out your name. The staff at the clinic said she won't let them pump her stomach unless she sees you." The palm of his hand was very warm. I glanced down. There's no dirt under my fingernails. The Zhao family lives in Tongmu village, across the river. It rained last night, so there's a stretch of muddy slope leading from the village entrance to the highway. Even if you rode your bike out, your pant legs would still get splattered with mud. Yet his dress shoes were spotless, with nothing but a thin layer of white chalk dust from the entrance to the test center on them. I asked, "What are you drinking?" Zhao Mingchuan paused for a moment. "Pesticides." "What kind of pesticide?" "How should I know?" The bottle was covered in writing, and I didn't read it. "What time did you have a drink?" "Just now." "What time was it just now?" He squeezed my hand a little tighter. "Suhee, is this really the time to be asking these questions? How much did you drink?" "Half a bottle." "Is the person at home or at the health center?" "At home." I looked at him. You just said that the staff at the health center refused to perform a gastric lavage on her. The crowd fell silent for a moment. Zhao Mingchuan's expression changed. Standing behind him was a girl in a floral dress, clutching a white handkerchief. Lu Lan. In his previous life, the woman Zhao Mingchuan married after achieving success and fame. She is also a neighbor of the Zhao family. If Zhao Guifan really was foaming at the mouth at home, Lu Lan shouldn't have been the first to show up at the entrance to the exam hall. I pulled my hand back and walked over to the window of the guardhouse. Sir, could you please contact the Township Health Center and then call the police station? The security guard paused for a moment. Why would you need to contact the police station? Someone has ingested poison, and their family says the situation is critical. The address is at the western end of Tomu village. There's a jujube tree by the entrance. Zhao Mingchuan jumped to his feet. Su He. I turned to look at him. If your mother refuses to seek medical treatment, the police station can help. If the staff from the health center arrive, they can start resuscitation right away. What can I do if I go? His lips twitched. Someone nearby whispered, that's true. If he really drank the pesticide, what good would it do to find a student? Lu Lan immediately stepped forward. But Aunt Zhao just wants to see her right now. Sometimes people are hanging on by a thread. If they can't let go of their emotional burdens, even doctors can't help. I asked her, it takes at least 20 minutes by bike to get here from Tomu village. Was she foaming at the mouth when you left? Lu Lan clenched her handkerchief and didn't answer. The PA system in the test center came on. Candidates, please check your admission tickets and exam supplies, and enter the exam room in an orderly manner. His father, Su Changshan, pushed his way through the crowd, his forehead covered in sweat. He looked at Zhao Mingchuan, then at me. He, why don't I go check on the Zhao family? You can go ahead and... Zhao Mingchuan interrupted him. Uncle Su, my mom has already accepted her as my wife. Now that someone has died, how can she possibly focus on her exams? My father's lips turned white. He spent his whole life repairing watches and radios for people. He dreaded owing anyone a favor, and he also feared that others would point fingers and say the Su family wasn't trustworthy. In my past life, he carried my backpack and ran half a li behind me. As he ran, he said, I'm sorry, Dad. I don't know what to do either. I looked at the few strands of hair at his temples that hadn't turned gray yet. Dad, go take a look. The doctor isn't here yet, and you're already rushing him. If the Zhao family stops you from taking him to the hospital, just go to the police station. Don't come looking for me at the test center. My father was taken aback. I handed my admission ticket to the security guard for inspection. Zhao Mingchuan shouted from behind, Suhi, if you go in today, we're completely done for. My foot hesitated for a moment. The crowd suddenly found a new topic of conversation and buzzed to life. Some people say I'm heartless. Some people say that even before getting into college, she's already looking down on her future in-laws. Someone else asked Zhao Mingchuan, what's the point of keeping a daughter-in-law like that? I didn't look back. The iron gate to the exam hall slowly closed behind me. There are 17 minutes left until the first exam begins. When the first exam was handed out, my hands wouldn't stop shaking. The proctor walked past me twice. The third time, she paused and asked softly, are you feeling unwell? I stared at the name section on the answer sheet. Su He. 2 words. The pen tip hovered for a long time, and the ink bled into a black spot on the paper. In my previous life, when Zhao Mingchuan registered his company, he once included my name on the family registration form. Besides that, everything I've written has been published under his name. I gripped the pen tightly. It's okay. After writing the first character Sue, my hand gradually steadied. When I left the exam hall at noon, my father was crouching by the wall, holding 2 aluminum lunch boxes. When he saw me, he stood up at first, then sat back down. The folding stool let out a creak. That stool isn't mine. I recognize it, it's the one outside Chang's photo studio where customers wait for their photos. Ching Yen was standing a short distance away, with a camera strap slung over his shoulder, taking a group photo of the family. He looked thinner than I remembered, with the cuffs of his white shirt rolled up to his elbows. As he looked down to adjust the camera, a strand of hair fell across his forehead. He had been to the test center in his previous life, too. It was just that at that moment, I was running out with Zhao Mingchuan. He caught up on his bike and said, "Suhi, let the doctor go first." Zhao Mingchuan accused him of hoping Zhao's mother would die. I think he's cold-blooded, too. For many years afterward, I would occasionally think back on those words, and only then did I realize that they might have been the only useful thing said that day. My father opened the lunchbox, which contained stir-fried greens and 2 eggs that had been fried until they were blackened. I went to the health center. His voice was very soft. I didn't ask about the results right away. I took a bite of my meal first. The rice is a little undercooked. When my father gets nervous, he always has trouble controlling the water flow. Aunt Zhao wasn't poisoned. The doctor at the health center said she showed no signs of poisoning. The bottle was open, some of it had spilled on her clothes, and the room was filled with the smell, but there wasn't much less in the bottle. The police at the station asked her how much she had drunk, and she changed her story, saying she had intended to drink it but had just brought it to her lips when she thought of Mingchuan and couldn't bring herself to do it. My father put down his chopsticks. But everyone in the village is saying that it's because you refused to go back that you drove her to the brink of drinking. I smiled. My father glared at me, "You're still laughing?" I didn't realize that not drinking could still count as having had a drink. People don't talk about whether she drank or not these days, he said, rubbing his hands together. Everyone says she was just upset because of you. The facts don't put an end to this matter. In my previous life, when I rushed back home, the Zhao family said I was being a dutiful son and had saved Zhao Guifen's life. I didn't go back this time around, and they said my callousness nearly cost Zhao Guifen her life. That same bottle of pesticide, no matter how you look at it, it proves I'm a member of the Zhao family. After taking the photo, Qing Yan walked by. His father called out to him, "Xiaoqing, thanks for the stool. I'll pay you back tonight." Qing Yan glanced at me. He didn't ask about the Zhao family. He just pulled a pencil out of the side pocket of his camera bag and placed it next to the lunch box. "Your pencil is broken." I looked down. Sure enough, the pencil had split down the middle that morning, and a splinter had pricked the pad of my finger. I hadn't even noticed it. "Thank you." Qing Yan hummed in acknowledgement and turned to leave. Zhao Mingchuan was standing across the street, watching us. Lu Lan wiped the sweat from his forehead. Her voice was neither too loud nor too soft, just loud enough for him to hear. "Mingchuan, don't worry. There are very few opportunities in a person's life to truly change their fate. So he will eventually realize that she made the wrong choice today." I stopped chewing. I've written that sentence before. In May, the school organized us to participate in the county-wide youth essay contest. My essay is titled "Opportunities Won't Wait for You." The first sentence of the second paragraph is, "There are very few opportunities in a person's lifetime to truly change their destiny." I revised that draft 7 times. The last time Zhao Mingchuan came to school to see me, he said he wanted to see how my writing was coming along. I gave it to him. The next day, he said the manuscript had accidentally gotten wet. I was too busy studying to look into it further, so I just rewrote it. My father asked, "Is the food no good?" "No." I looked up at Lu Lan. She had already slipped her arm through Zhao Mingchuan's, as if to comfort him. One sentence doesn't prove anything. I shoved the remaining half of the egg into my mouth and forced myself to swallow it. Dad, don't let them come near me this afternoon. My father nodded. For the next 2 days, the Zhao family didn't cause any more trouble at the entrance to the exam hall. They tried a different approach. As the test takers were entering the venue, someone standing under a tree accused me of being unfilial. During lunch, a relative came to talk to my father, saying that since Zhao Guifan was, after all, an elder, I should go and kowtow to her once I finished my exams. Before the last exam began, Zhao Mingchuan had someone deliver a piece of paper. There's only one sentence there. Come see me after the exam, and I'll give you one more chance. I threw the paper away. As soon as the last question was finished and the bell rang, some students in the classroom laughed, while others cried with their heads on their desks. As I walked out of the test center, a radio in a store on the street was playing the county radio station. There was some static, and the female announcer's voice came in and out. We will now present the shortlisted entries for the Voice of the Wild Geese Youth Essay Contest. Author, Lu Lan, a graduate of Lanjiang High School. Title, Opportunities Won't Wait for You. People all around stopped in their tracks. Lu Lan stood next to Zhao Mingchuan, her cheeks flushed. The announcer reads the first sentence. There are very few opportunities in a person's lifetime to truly change their destiny. I stood under the July sun, feeling my hands and feet grow cold inch by inch. It wasn't until the news report reached the third paragraph that I was completely certain. The entire article. Only the ending was changed. What I originally wrote was, opportunity doesn't guarantee success for everyone, but at least it gives people the right to decide where they're willing to fail. But the ending of the broadcast was, a woman's opportunities lie not only in the exam hall, but also in choosing a man she can trust. I'm grateful to Comrade Zhao Mingchuan for helping me understand the true direction of my life. Laughter rang out from the crowd. Some people praise Lu Lan for writing with emotion and integrity. Zhao Mingchuan walked toward me. His face showed none of the panic one might see outside an exam room. In fact, it even betrayed a hint of compassion. Suhi, we come up with these articles through our everyday conversations. Lu Lan was just helping to tidy up. I asked, us? I've told you so much about doing business, that's why you were able to write it. Besides, we're going to get married sooner or later. Does it really matter whose name is on the document? I looked at him. It turns out he'd thought from the very beginning that my name didn't matter. I turned and walked toward the radio station. Zhao Mingchuan caught up with him. What are you up to? Give me back my manuscript. Do you have any evidence? I stopped in my tracks. He smiled. That smile seemed to remind me that I no longer had that very first draft. The radio station and the editorial office of Lanjiang News are located in the same old building. After listening to what I had to say, the editor on duty retrieved the manuscript submitted by Lu Lan. Her name was written at the top of the manuscript, followed by Zhao Mingchuan's recommendation. The editor flipped through the pages. Do you have a draft? There is a revised draft. Can you prove the existence of time? I didn't say anything. I wrote the date on the revised draft myself. That alone doesn't prove anything. The editor closed the manuscript. This article is entered in the Yanqing Youth Essay Contest. The list of finalists will be announced in 3 days. If you raise an objection regarding the byline, we can hold off on sending it to press for now. But you have to provide verifiable evidence within 3 days. We can't find it, so we'll have to publish it under the name provided in the submission we received. By the time I left the editorial office, the sun was already setting. Zhao Mingchuan stood in the shadows downstairs, as if he were certain I wouldn't turn up anything. I took 2 steps and suddenly remembered something. On May 17th, worried that the clean copy might get lost after I mailed it, I went to Chang's photo studio. That day, Ching Yen thought I was taking too long to copy the text page by page, so he photographed the entire article onto a roll of film. The photos haven't been developed yet. The film might still be there. I turned around and ran toward the photo studio. Behind him, a window on the 2nd floor was pushed open. The editor on duty poked his head out and reminded everyone once again, "Suhi, you only have 3 days." There's no way to prove it, but the article is definitely by Lu Lan. The door to Chang's photo studio was open. A faded red sign hung by the door reading ID photos, same-day pickup. Ching Yen was crouched behind the counter, repairing a flash. I was running so fast that I knocked over a row of metal clips when I pushed the door open. He looked up. "Is the exam over?" "On May 17th, I asked you to take a photo for an article." 6 sheets of lined paper, torn from a blue-lined notebook. The first sheet has a mimeograph mark in the upper right corner. Ching Yen looked at me for a few seconds. "It's not oil. It's the chili sauce that dripped on it when you bought the flatbread." I didn't expect him to still remember. "Do you still have the film?" "It should be there." He put down the screwdriver and pulled out the registration book from under the counter. The Ching family's ledger was very thick, and its cardboard cover was worn to a fuzzy texture. Each roll of film was numbered, with the date, customer's name, and a brief description written next to it. He turned to the page for May. May 17th, Suhi, 6 pages of manuscript. Film roll number, E417. It's cooler in the dark room than outside. As soon as the red light came on, the pots and vases in the corner were bathed in a dusky red glow. Ching Yen wouldn't let me touch the medicine. "You have a cut on your hand." I looked down and realized that a splinter in my index finger had already pierced the skin. He loaded the film and developed the photos one by one. The first photo is of the date sign outside the photo studio. The second photo is a wedding anniversary portrait of an elderly couple. The woman has a red plastic flower pinned to her chest. Starting with the third slide, these are my slides. The handwriting is slightly slanted. 2 lines in the first paragraph have been crossed out, and a sentence has been added next to them. In the 6th photo, the end of the article reads clearly, "Opportunity doesn't choose a path for you. It simply gives you one chance to step out." Zhao Mingchuan isn't here. Nor is there a man she can trust. I stared at the photo for a long time. Does this prove I wrote it? Ching Yen didn't answer right away. This proves that on May 17th, this article was in your possession. It proves that the draft Lu Lan submitted is highly consistent with yours. We'll need additional documentation to verify that you wrote every character yourself. I was a little annoyed. Don't you trust me? Ching Yen looked up at me. I believe. The editorial department cannot print "I believe" in the correction notice. From outside the darkroom, Cheng's father's voice could be heard greeting a guest. Ching Yen put the negatives into a paper bag and wrote down the roll number. I can't give you the registry, and you can't take the original film with you either. I'll go with you. When we arrived at the editorial office, Lu Lan and Zhao Mingchuan were already inside. Lu Lan's eyes were red, as if she had just been crying. When she saw me come in with Ching Yen, she looked at Zhao Mingchuan first, then whispered, "Suhi, I don't know why you had to make such a big deal out of this." We did, in fact, discuss that article together. I asked, "Which part did you write?" She was taken aback. Writing isn't like cutting up pork, you don't have to figure out exactly which piece belongs to whom. Then tell me, why was the 3rd paragraph deleted? What do you mean, the 3rd paragraph? I put the photo on the table. Lu Lan's expression changed. Zhao Mingchuan reached out to take it, but Qing Yan pressed his finger against the edge of the photo. You can look at it, but don't bend it. The editor on duty compared the photos with the submitted manuscripts several times and reviewed the records in the logbook. At this point, we can at least confirm that Suhi already had a nearly complete draft of the article in his possession before May 17th. Lu Lan, you mentioned collaborating. When exactly is that supposed to happen? Lu Lan looked at Zhao Mingchuan. Zhao Mingchuan said, early June. The editor frowned. Then how do you explain the one from May 17th? Zhao Mingchuan was quick to react. Suhi wrote the first draft, and Lu Lan and I later provided a lot of feedback. The final published version was a collaborative effort. I asked, what did you change? A lot. Which one? Zhao Mingchuan looked at me and suddenly smiled. Are you putting me on trial right now? Don't forget, I still have that very first draft. I wrote some things on it. My heart sank. That manuscript I'd been unable to find turned out not to have been ruined by water after all. He took it. The editorial board has decided to suspend publication and award evaluations until both parties have submitted additional materials, at which point a meeting will be held to review the authorship and provide an explanation. Once the suspension notice was posted, word spread even faster. Some people say that Lu Lan stole my article. Some people say I'm going to dump my fiancé after I finish the college entrance exam, so I'm snatching up our shared achievement first. A few days later, the school notified me to check my grades. My score was more than 20 points higher than the previous year's admission cutoff for my first-choice university. My homeroom teacher held my hand and said that as long as there weren't any major changes to the cutoff scores this year, I had a very good chance. As I stepped out of my office, my father was standing at the end of the hallway. Even though he clearly had a smile on his face, his hand kept rubbing the seam of his pants. It wasn't until I got home that I realized why. The scholarship from the Yenching essay contest was originally enough to cover my first year's tuition, room and board, and travel expenses. The awards are currently on hold. The most valuable oscilloscope in the repair shop had a price tag on it, and a receipt for the sale of the shop was sitting next to the counter. My father has already received the deposit. Give me my deposit back, I said. He bent down to tighten the screws. I really want it. Just because I got into college, does that mean you're not going to make a living anymore? We can always open the shop again. A bicycle bell rang outside the door. Zhao Mingchuan stood at the entrance to the repair shop, pushing his bike. He took out a written statement and placed it on the counter. The statement says that Opportunities Won't Wait for You was conceived jointly by Zhao Mingchuan and me, with assistance from Lu Lan in organizing the content. As long as I sign, the Zhao family will cover all my college expenses. The engagement remains unchanged. He was even willing to let me be the first signatory. Zhao Mingchuan glanced at the price tag on the oscilloscope and spoke in a soft tone. Suhi, there's no need for us to both end up worse off. If you want to go to college, I'll pay for it. I can give you the title of the article, too. Come back, and we'll still be a family. I asked, what if I don't sign? In that case, I'll formally file an objection with the organizers tomorrow. You have the film. I have the original manuscript. It's hard to say who's copying whom. After he finished speaking, he placed the pen next to the statement. Give me an answer by tomorrow morning. After he left, my father didn't say a word. There was an old, disassembled tape recorder on the workbench. I picked up the pen, then put it down again. Dad, when will this tape recorder be delivered? The day after tomorrow. Is it fixed yet? After replacing the strap and the battery, it can record for over an hour. Don't turn it in just yet. My father looked at me. I folded Zhao Mingchuan's statement and put it in my pocket. I agreed to talk to him once. I decided to meet at the repair shop. Zhao Mingchuan didn't suspect a thing. In my past life, whenever we argued, I always ended up backing down here. Since my father was sleeping in the next room, I was afraid that making too much noise would worry him. It was also because the repair shop was the only place where I could lock the door without worrying about the Zhao family barging in. At 7:00 p.m., the shops on the street began to close one after another. My father went to my aunt's house as I had asked. I placed the tape recorder under the workbench, covered it with an old piece of canvas, and did a test recording for a few minutes beforehand. You can clearly hear the clock striking the hour and the bicycle bells on the street. Zhao Mingchuan arrived very quickly. He also brought 2 packages of sponge cakes. This was your favorite when you were little. I really do like it. The first time the Zhao family came to ask for my hand in marriage, he brought me a package from the county seat. I couldn't bring myself to eat it, so I broke off only half a piece each day, until it finally went moldy. I stared at the oil paper wrapper for 2 seconds. Zhao Mingchuan smiled. He misinterpreted my silence. Suhi, I know you're still upset. My mom went a little too far with that, but she was just afraid of losing you. You've been gone for 4 years, how could she not be worried? I asked, did she drink it or not? Zhao Mingchuan frowned. Why are we even talking about this? I want to know. He leaned against the counter, sounding a little impatient. I didn't drink any. I just opened the bottle and sprinkled a little on my clothes. She didn't take a single sip, she just wanted to scare you into coming back. I dug my fingertips into the palm of my hand. Even though I'd known the answer all along, my chest still tightened a little when I heard it with my own ears. Why was Lu Lan at the test site? She went to help. What kind of help? Zhao Mingchuan paused for a moment. My mom was worried I'd go, but you wouldn't believe me. Lu Lan is our neighbor, what she says carries weight. So you guys planned this in advance? Suhi, don't put it so harshly. We just want to make sure you don't go into the exam room. He said it as if it were the most natural thing in the world. It was as if it weren't an exam at all, but simply that I'd taken the wrong turn on my way from the market to home to cook dinner. I looked down and unwrapped the wax paper from the sponge cake. Oil seeped out and stuck to the pads of my fingers. I can let this slide. Zhao Mingchuan's expression softened. But what about the article? Why did Lu Lan enter my essay in the contest? I told you, she was just helping out. Who are you helping? Help us. When did I agree to that? Zhao Mingchuan sat down across from me. Suhi, don't get so hung up on it. You're going to be my wife someday, so of course what you write belongs to me, too. Lu Lanzi is more articulate than you, and she's quite resourceful. If she submits it to the radio station, she'll get to know the people at the editorial office. When I start my own business someday, these connections will come in handy. You write, she speaks, and I'm in charge of selling the product. Isn't that great? I recalled what my company was like in my past life. I was writing flyers in the warehouse, Lu Lan was giving a speech on stage, and Zhao Mingchuan was holding a glass of wine and chatting with people as if they were old friends. I always thought it was money that changed them later on. It turns out that the division of labor chart had actually been drawn up as early as 1998. I asked, what about my name? Zhao Mingchuan chuckled. Why do you always worry about such trivial things? The money ends up in our family, but whose reputation does it bring? What difference does it make? Once we're married, I'll let you handle the finances. Whether or not you go to college isn't really that important. I looked up. You just said you'd pay for my education. I can afford it. But you have to do as you're told. If you really move to another province, how can I keep you here? The sound of an engine could be heard from outside the door. A truck drove past the corner, causing the windows to rattle. The rest of Zhao Mingchuan's words were drowned out by the roar. After the truck drove off, he said, Lu Lan isn't a stranger, after all. How did that first draft end up in your hands? I asked. Zhao Mingchuan's expression changed slightly. Su-hee, that's enough already. Are you going to sign it or not? I looked at him. I'll get back to you tomorrow. After Zhao Mingchuan left, I locked the door and played the tape again. The wall clock struck 7 o'clock sharp. The sound of the parchment paper wrapping the sponge cake being unwrapped. Then Zhao Mingchuan clearly admitted, my mom didn't drink a single sip, she just wanted to scare you into coming back. You're going to be my wife someday, so of course what you write belongs to me, too. When discussing the earliest draft, all that remained was the heavy rumble of the truck's engine. The recording proves why he used my article. However, it does not prove how the manuscript ended up in Lu Lan's hands. I'm still missing one piece. The next morning, half the county had seen the love letter I wrote to Zhao Mingchuan. He copied one of the lines onto red paper and posted it at the school, the radio station, and the repair shop. Everything I have will be yours from now on. Beneath the red paper was another line of small print. Su-hee once willingly shared an article with her fiancé, but now, in an attempt to gain admission to college, she has gone back on her word and falsely accused him. More and more people were gathering to watch. After someone finished reading it, they smiled and asked me, you wrote that yourself, and now you won't admit it? I did indeed write that sentence. When I was 16, Zhao Mingchuan gave me a hardcover notebook. We'll each write for one day. He wrote about who at the town wren factory had their wages withheld and who had stolen wire from the warehouse. I wrote about things at school, about how my teacher praised my essay, and about how I wanted to visit a real newspaper office in the provincial capital someday. On one page I wrote, everything I have will be yours from now on. Zhao Mingchuan tore off the bottom half of the page. I searched through every wooden box in the house and finally found that exchange notebook under an old clock box. The pages are yellowed and the edges have small notches caused by insects. The complete paragraph is, everything I have will be yours someday. You can read my articles, but I can't give you my name. My dad looked through 3 dictionaries to come up with it, and I just can't bear to give it to anyone else. When I was 16, I drew a grain of rice next to it. At the time, I thought that was a witty remark. Looking back on it now, it's as if she's reminding me of this after all these years. But I didn't hear it. The school administrators called me in for a meeting. The vice principal spread out the materials Zhao Mingchuan had submitted on the table. Su-hee, you did very well on the college entrance exam, and the school is happy for you. But if this keeps dragging on, it will reflect poorly on the school. It's perfectly normal for couples to discuss articles with each other. Co-authoring a paper isn't really asking too much of you. I asked, if a male student wrote the paper and a female student went to accept the award, would the school still encourage the male student to be listed as a co-author? The vice principal picked up his teacup. Don't split hairs. The fact that Zhao Mingchuan's family is willing to cover your tuition shows that they still value family ties. You're a girl, your reputation matters, too. I put the swap book back in my backpack. My reputation does not come from acknowledging that someone else wrote my articles. If I wrote it, put my name on it. When I left the office, Qin Yan was leaning against the staircase, waiting for me. He saw the notebook I was holding, but didn't ask what was in it. The time for the information session has been set. In 3 days, at the small auditorium of the County Cultural Center. Zhao Mingchuan claimed that I had personal feelings for you and demanded that the negatives be destroyed. The frustration that had been building up inside me all morning suddenly flared up at him. What about you? You think a single photograph doesn't prove anything, do you? Qing Yan furrowed his brow. You can't prove everything anyway. I know. You don't have to remind me every time that there isn't enough evidence. I'm not. What good would it do for you to trust me? As soon as the words left my mouth, I regretted them. Qing Yan was silent for a moment. I believe in you. The briefing doesn't trust people, it only looks at the facts. His tone remained even. But I felt even worse. So I have to find something. It only took them one night to steal my article. I'll bring it all back and go through everything item by item, everything I've written since I turned 16, who I've shown it to, and the dates I took photos. Someone is walking by downstairs. Qing Yan stepped aside a little and waited for the man to walk away. I can prove that on May 17th, I took photos of those 6 pages of manuscript. It also proves that the film wasn't changed and the date wasn't altered. Other than that, I won't say anything out of turn. If I say something out of the blue, Zhao Mingchuan will just claim that everything that follows is a lie too. I didn't answer. He took the film pouch out of his camera bag. The original film has been turned over to the editorial department for safekeeping. We also let them look at the registry. Don't worry, I won't change my mind at the last minute. Why am I worried that you'll change your mind? Qing Yan glanced at me. Because Zhao Mingchuan went to the photo studio last night. He said that as long as I admit the registration date might have been recorded incorrectly, the town office, factory, and school would still have our family take the group photos. My heart skipped a beat. Does your dad know? Now I know. Qing Yan turned and went downstairs. When I arrived at the photo studio, Mr. Chang's father was throwing things around. An empty film canister rolled out the door and hit the tip of my shoe. You've alienated the Zhao family and the town Ren factory just for the sake of a female student who's about to leave for another province, and now you won't even let us take our graduation photos. How do photo studios make a living? With that little bit of your high-and-mighty attitude? Qing Yan stood at the doorway of the darkroom, his face very pale. I'm not mistaken about the date. I can't say I'm wrong. Chang's father pointed at him and asked, "What did she give you?" Qing Yan didn't say anything. I walked inside. Uncle Qing, I'm sorry. Chang's father turned to look at me, his chest rising and falling. Don't apologize to me. You scholars all have bright futures ahead of you, but we shopkeepers have to make a living too. He'll help you, but I'll be the one paying the price. That really hit the nail on the head. I turned around and walked out of the photo studio. By the time Qing Yan came out, I had already reached the end of the alley. Su He. Don't follow me. I'm not. I know you're not here to ask for a favor. I stopped, not daring to look back. In his previous life, my father ran a repair shop. Later, Zhao Mingchuan kept saying that he was the one who paid for my father's care in his old age, and that I should be grateful to him. In this lifetime, my father is still going to sell the shop. The Qing family also lost an order because of me. I took a different path, but it still feels like I'm walking on top of someone else's life. The darkroom door creaked behind him. Qing Yan said, "Come in first." There was only one red light inside. It wasn't until I went inside that I realized I had been shaking the whole time. I gagged a few times, and then suddenly felt really hungry. There was a package of cookies on the table for guests, but I tried to open it twice and couldn't. Ching Yen tore open the package for me and set it on the edge of the table. He was very close to me. I could smell the developer on his cuff. When I looked up, he was looking at me, too. After a moment, he reached out and turned on the white light. A blinding light suddenly flooded in. Ching Yen stepped back outside the door. The door isn't locked. Let me know when you're coming out. He didn't come in to comfort me. Nor did he ask me what I wanted when I was at my most vulnerable. I ate half a package of cookies all by myself in the darkroom. When I got home, there was a red piece of paper posted on the door of the repair shop. Store and equipment for sale. A deposit has been received. My father has already started selling off his life. As I tore off the red paper from the deed, my father was putting away his tools in the back room. Sort the screws by size and place them in the glass jar. The solder wire is coiled up. He even polished the pliers under the counter, the ones with a missing tooth, until they were spotless. Give me my deposit back, I said. My father didn't look up. It's already been agreed upon. Just because I'm going to college, does that mean you're not going to make ends meet? Of course you're going. So what are you going to eat from now on? I have hands. Your hands are already starting to shake. The room fell silent. One of my father's screws fell on the floor. I looked for a long time but couldn't find it. I crouched down, picked it up from beside the leg of the cabinet, and placed it in the palm of his hand. His hand was indeed shaking. It's not serious. For a watchmaker, even the slightest tremor in the hand can make it impossible to hold a balance spring as thin as a strand of hair. My father whispered, even if we sell the shop, we can always open another one. You're young, don't leave so many regrets behind. Go out and live the life an 18-year-old should live. My eyes are stinging. What about you? Now that the shop's sold, who's going to give you back your 48th year? My father smiled. I'm 48. Whether it's a year less or a year more, it doesn't make much difference. You're 18, just 1 year away from a whole new life. I couldn't help but cry. My father, on the other hand, panicked and wiped my face with his sleeve. Don't cry. Did Dad say something wrong? No. I grabbed his hand. I'm just scared. I'm afraid I'll have to take my name back, and in the end, I still won't be able to pay the tuition. That's not a very nice thing to say. I know what the future holds. I'll still be worrying about a few hundred yuan, and I'll read Zhao Mingchuan's statement and think that maybe signing it wouldn't be so bad after all. Anyway, the article is mainly credited to me. Anyway, maybe I can go back to school after I get married. That's how it was in my past life. Time and again, I used maybe as an excuse to save face, only to end up walking into a room with no door. My father patted my hand. The campus is so big, there's bound to be a way. Go ahead. We'll figure it out when we get there. I nodded. Refund the deposit. The money I have to pay back will be deducted from my future royalties. My father was trying to say that since I haven't gone to college yet, where would I get any royalties from? Finally, he simply said, "That's quite a bold claim." I played the recording again. After the truck roared past, a very soft voice was hidden amid the noise. I turned the volume all the way up. Zhao Mingchuan's voice came in fits and starts. Once you go to college, I won't be able to keep an eye on you anymore. The article is ours. You owe me. I finally understood why he was so determined to stop me from taking the exam. He was afraid that if I read more books and met more people, I would realize that he wasn't my only outlet. He needs my articles, and he also needs me to never know how much they're worth. The next day, Zhao Mingchuan came again. This time, he didn't go inside. Standing outside, he asked, "Have you signed the statement?" I slipped the paper through the crack in the door. As soon as he reached out, I let go. The statement, torn in half, fell at his feet. Zhao Mingchuan looked up. "Do you really think you can win with just one photo?" "I'll bring the earliest draft to the briefing tomorrow." "And the letter you wrote to me?" "When the time comes, everyone will know that you stole our article just to get rid of me." I asked, "What if I lose?" "Come back. The engagement stands. I'll still pay for your education." He paused for a moment and his tone softened. "Suhi, I've already made a lot of concessions. I don't even blame you for embarrassing me at the test center." I looked at the two halves of the statement lying at his feet. "I'm not going to beg them for money tomorrow. I went to get my name back." The gentle expression on Zhao Mingchuan's face gradually faded. He bent down, picked up the piece of paper, and crumpled it into a ball. "Well, let's see if you've got what it takes." The day before the information session, Lu Lan came to see me. She wasn't wearing that floral dress. She had changed into a gray cotton shirt, and she hadn't put on any face cream. "Let's talk." She chose the small courtyard behind the county cultural center. A few red stage curtains were hanging out to dry in the courtyard. When the wind blew, it looked as if someone were walking back and forth behind them. Lu Lan got straight to the point. "Zhao Mingchuan gave me the article." I didn't say anything. "He said you've already agreed. He said that once you're married, it won't matter whose name is on it." "So when did you realize I didn't agree?" Lu Lan pursed her lips. "When you went to the editorial office." "Now that you know, why didn't you retract the article?" "Because I've already made the shortlist." She answered right away. It was so fast that it took me by surprise. "Suhi, you're a good writer, and your grades are excellent. Once you get to college, you'll be able to write many more essays." "What about me?" "The county radio station only has this one chance. They need a female announcer with a good voice and a good appearance. If I don't show them what I've got, why should they keep me?" She didn't feel any shame as she said this. On the contrary, there was a sense of openness that comes from being backed into a corner. "What do you want me to do?" "Tomorrow, let's all say that it was Zhao Mingchuan who deceived the two of them. I admit that you wrote most of the article. Don't make a big deal out of my byline, and don't ask the radio station to issue a public correction. We'll tell everyone what Zhao Mingchuan and his mom did. When the time comes, you'll get the bonus, and I'll stay at the radio station." This is a very easy route. Two women who had been deceived by men joined forces. One gets money, and the other gets an opportunity. Zhao Mingchuan became the sole villain. But Lu Lan knew she hadn't written the article herself. I know I raised an objection. I also know that the so-called collaborative creation doesn't hold water. She just figured that I'd have plenty of other opportunities in the future, so it wouldn't hurt to take this one. Just like Zhao Mingchuan. They've all done the math for me, it doesn't matter what I've lost. "I disagree," I said. Lu Lan's expression darkened. "Do you really want both of us to end up worse off? All I'm asking is for the byline to be corrected. Once I've been corrected, who would still want me? That's something you should have thought about before you took the byline." Lu Lan stood up. "Do you really think Qing Yan is a good person? Isn't he just helping you so he can take your place once you and Zhao Mingchuan break up? Men are all the same. I remembered the white light that came on in the dark room. At least he didn't take my things to prove he loved me. After Lu Lan left, Qin Yan walked in through the entrance of the cultural center. He was holding a photocopy of the photo studio's registration log and a sealed roll of film. What did she want with you? Give me a shortcut. Are you leaving? I'm not leaving. Qin Yan nodded. It's as if I'd only said I wouldn't take a muddy path. We sat in the back row of the auditorium, organizing our materials. He said, let them speak first tomorrow. Zhao Mingchuan, holding the earliest draft, will have the upper hand at first. I looked at him. Aren't you afraid of getting kicked out of the photo studio? I'm scared. Coming back? Qin Yan smoothed out the seal on the film canister. The date is correct. I can't say I'm wrong. Is that all? He looked up at me. There's more. My heart skipped a beat. Qin Yan, however, looked down and continued sorting through the papers. Don't change your college choice because of me. I'm not worth that much. I almost burst out laughing. This person can make even a slightly suggestive remark sound like a reminder to customers not to overpay for photos. I don't plan on changing it. I know. Then why did you say that? I'm afraid you might do something stupid at the last minute. I kicked the leg of his chair. Footsteps could be heard outside the auditorium. Zhao Mingchuan arrived early. He took a stack of manuscript paper out of his bag. The top sheet had the familiar red pen corrections from his Chinese teacher. This is exactly the original draft I've been looking for. He looked at me from across several rows of chairs. Su He. Don't cry tomorrow. He was holding my original manuscript, ready to prove that I was the one who had plagiarized. Before the briefing began, the editor-in-chief set the record straight. Today, we will only review the authorship of Opportunities Won't Wait for Yuan eligibility for the Yenching Education Award. Not finalizing the engagement will not affect anyone's college entrance exam scores or university admissions. Both sides only state the facts they can prove. Zhao Mingchuan was the first to speak. He spread the revised draft out on the table. The manuscript paper had been soaked in water, and the edges were wrinkled. It has my handwriting on it, as well as some handwriting in different colors in a few places. This is the very first draft. The article was originally written by Suhi, but the idea came from our regular discussions. After she finished writing it, she always left it with me for safekeeping. Later, Lu Lan and I revised the ending and rearranged the paragraphs. Suhi suddenly called off the engagement after the college entrance exams, and only then did she claim that all of the articles were hers. Lu Lan then went on to discuss the so-called creative process. She said she was the one who suggested deleting the third paragraph because it was too pessimistic. She rewrote the ending to better align with the positive and uplifting tone required for the youth essay contest. The topic, Opportunities Won't Wait for You, was first brought up by Zhao Mingchuan. Someone in the gallery nodded. It's not unusual for 3 people to discuss a single article. When it was my turn, I didn't immediately object. The words in the revised draft are mine. I did, in fact, show the article to Zhao Mingchuan. A murmur of conversation filled the auditorium. Zhao Mingchuan's mouth twitched slightly. I continued, but just because I've read it doesn't mean I've written it. I turned to Lu Lan. You said you were the one who suggested deleting the third paragraph. What is the first sentence of the original text in the third paragraph? Lu Lan paused for a moment. I can't remember every word. Why did you delete it? Because it's too negative. Where is the negativity? She looked at the submitted manuscript on the table. The editor blocked it with his hand. Lu Lan said, "I guess it means ordinary people don't stand a chance." "No." I turned to Zhao Mingchuan. "You said you came up with the question. What was the article originally called?" He frowned. "Let's just go with this one." I took a sheet of school composition paper out of my backpack. It was originally called The Door. My Chinese teacher said the title was too vague, so on May 14th, I changed it to its current name. The Chinese teacher was sitting next to him. She put on her reading glasses and carefully reviewed the revised draft. The red pen annotations are mine. The date is May 14th. This manuscript was returned to Suhi that same afternoon. The editor-in-chief asked Zhao Mingchuan, "How did you get this manuscript?" "She gave it to me later." "Which day?" "I don't remember." When was the first time Lu Lan participated in the discussion? Mid-May. Lu Lan, however, said, early June. Their accounts contradicted each other. Qing Yan handed the registration records and the sealed film reels to the editor-in-chief. He only explained the filming process. On the afternoon of May 17th, Suhi went to a photo studio and asked them to photograph the 6-page manuscript page by page. On the same roll of film, there is a date stamp for that day, a commemorative photo of a married couple, and that day's provincial newspaper. The film is continuous, with no cuts. Zhao Mingchuan gave a cold laugh. He likes Suhi. You can't trust what he says. Qing Yan looked at him. You don't have to believe me. Check the number. The Cultural Center asked a veteran photographer from the county photo studio to check the film. The sequential numbering, the registry, and the photographs in the same volume correspond to one another. On May 17th, the full article was already available. The version shown in the photo even includes the third paragraph, which was later deleted by Lu Lan. The editor-in-chief asked, Lu Lan, you said you suggested deleting the third paragraph. When did you first see the article? Lu Lan didn't answer. Zhao Mingchuan spoke up first. At most, this proves that Suhi wrote the first draft. It cannot be proven that we were not involved in what happened afterward. Besides, she said herself that everything she owns will be mine someday. He took out the transcribed love letter. There was another stir in the gallery. Zhao Guifan, sitting in the back row, immediately raised her voice. Did you hear that? She's been a member of the Zhao family for a long time now. Why distinguish between yours and mine when you're a married couple? I took my exchange notebook out of my backpack. As the page turned, it made a dry, crisp sound. I wrote that sentence. I'll read the entire text aloud. Everything I have will be yours from now on. I can show you the article, but I can't give you the name. My dad looked through 3 dictionaries to come up with my name, so I wouldn't want to give it to anyone else. The auditorium fell silent for a few seconds. Someone let out a soft chuckle. Zhao Mingchuan's expression darkened. The editor-in-chief asked, Can you specify which paragraphs you actually edited? Or perhaps provide a record of our collaborative work prior to May 17th? Zhao Mingchuan pressed his finger against the tabletop. So what if she wrote the article first? She's my fiancé. She writes articles, and I use them. How is that stealing? That only proves she started writing first. It doesn't prove I wasn't involved. He finally articulated the set of principles he truly believed in. As long as the engagement remains in effect, my powers automatically belong to him. I looked at the editor-in-chief. Then let's play the last tape. My father brought the tape recorder over. He was afraid it might get damaged along the way, so he wrapped it in 3 layers of the cotton cloth used for repairing radios. When the machine was placed on the table, Zhao Mingchuan's expression changed. "What did you record?" I didn't answer. The tape began to spin. First, I fixed the 7 o'clock chime on the wall clock at the repair shop. Next came the sound of the wax paper being unwrapped. Zhao Mingchuan's youthful voice came through the speaker. "I didn't drink any. I just opened the bottle and sprinkled a little on my clothes." She didn't take a single sip, she just wanted to scare you into coming back. Zhao Guifan stood up from her seat. "Turn it off." "She secretly recorded someone talking, that doesn't count." The editor-in-chief gestured for her to sit down. "The recording will not be used in connection with the medication incident. But it has to do with why both parties are using the article. You can make a comprehensive judgment after listening to it." The tape kept playing. My voice asked, "Why did Lu Lan enter my essay in the contest?" Zhao Mingchuan replied, "You're going to be my wife someday, so of course what you write belongs to me, too. Lu Lanzi is a better speaker than you. You handle the writing, she handles the talking, and I'll handle selling the stuff." There was no more whispering in the auditorium. Zhao Mingchuan jumped to his feet. "I was just speaking in the heat of the moment. What should you never say when you're arguing with your partner? That doesn't prove that Lu Lan didn't take part in the revisions." The editor-in-chief looked at Lu Lan. "Do you still maintain that you were involved in the original creation?" Lu Lan's face turned pale. She looked at Zhao Mingchuan, then at the negatives on the table. "Not at first." Zhao Mingchuan turned his head. "Lu Lan. You're the one who gave me the manuscript," she suddenly raised her voice. "You said Su-hee had already agreed. Later, when she went to the editorial office, I wanted to call it off, but you were the one who said she wouldn't dare break off the engagement. I rewrote the ending. I didn't write the rest of the article." Zhao Mingchuan snapped at her. Lu Lan's eyes reddened, but she didn't try to explain for him again. The sound of a truck rumbling could be heard on the tape. After the static faded, all that remained was a single, broken sentence. "Once you go to college, I won't be able to keep an eye on you anymore. The article is ours. You owe me." End of recording. The editor-in-chief did not announce the results immediately. He exchanged materials with the director of the cultural center and representatives from the sponsoring organizations, and then asked the Chinese language teacher to double-check the dates on the graded assignments. Those 10 or so minutes felt like an eternity. Zhao Guifan had been crying in the background the whole time. She said she just couldn't bear to part with her daughter-in-law. They say country folk don't understand bylines. It's said that when a family has a public argument, it brings shame on both families. My father sat behind me and didn't try to talk me out of it. He just whispered a reminder. The tape recorder isn't turned off yet. I reached out and pressed the stop button. The editor-in-chief picked up the written comments. Based on the complete draft prepared prior to May 17, the teacher's grading records, the continuous film footage, and the statements of the parties involved, the organizers have determined that Su-hee is the primary author of Opportunity Won't Wait for You. The changes Lu Lan made to the ending are not sufficient to constitute joint authorship of the entire text. Zhao Mingchuan failed to provide reliable evidence of his actual involvement in the writing. Restore Su-hee's eligibility to participate in the selection process and receive financial aid. Revoke Lu Lan's nomination as an original creator. A correction will be published under the author's name in the next issue of Lanjiang newsletter and on the county radio station. A representative from the sponsor added that the prize money requires additional processing and cannot be claimed on the same day. I nodded. Money doesn't grow on trees. The loss my father incurred from the refund of the deposit won't just disappear on its own. It's even less likely that the Ching family's orders would all come back the very next day just because the truth had been uncovered. But that article was finally credited to me again. Zhao Mingchuan walked up to me. "I've given you the title of the article. Can we go back now?" I didn't quite understand at first. My mom was in the wrong, but I can apologize, too. "If you want to go to college, go ahead. I'll treat you. There's no need to call off the engagement." He still felt that this was just a dispute that could be resolved if either side were to back down. Zhao Guifan also walked over. "Hee, we're all family, why make such a big deal out of it?" I looked at her. In my past life, I spent more than 30 years trying to explain things to her. Explain why I'm tired, why I'm sick, and why I want to put my own name on a piece of manuscript paper for once. She heard it every time. It's just that I never thought of it as something that needed to be resolved. In this life, I will no longer explain. I took the red string off my wrist, the one Zhao Mingchuan had given me when we got engaged, and placed it on the table. The title of the article was mine to begin with. "If it's not yours, give it back to me." Zhao Mingchuan's face turned pale. I said, "Give me back my name. You can keep the rest of your life for yourself." The correction statement was broadcast a week later. The announcer first read my name. There are still people on the street who say I went too far. Some people say Zhao Guifan was just trying to scare us. Why did I have to drag the old lady into the briefing? Some people also believe that since the article went through Zhao Mingchuan's hands, he should be considered at least a co-author to some extent. I didn't go from house to house explaining it anymore. The editorial department reinstated the award, but the prize money won't be deposited until the end of the month. My father returned the deposit to the repair shop and lost 20 yuan. He was so worried that he didn't buy any meat for 3 days, but on the 4th day, he secretly cut half a jean and said, "You're about to go to college, so you need to build up your strength." Only one order for a group photo of the Ching family came in. The principal did not admit to having exerted pressure at the time, saying only that the misunderstanding between the young people had been resolved. Cheng's father was still angry. But he didn't ask Cheng Yan to change what he said. Later, I heard that he put that roll of film in a metal box and placed it at the very back of the counter. My acceptance letter arrived in mid-August. My father took the manila envelope from the mail carrier but didn't dare open it. When I came back, he was sitting on the doorstep, having already read the name of the school on the envelope 7 or 8 times. I was accepted to a university in another province. Just as I originally indicated. My father handed me the acceptance letter. "See if it's yours." I smiled. That's the right name. On the day of my departure, Cheng Yan came to the station to see me off. He was carrying a camera bag on his back and holding a paper bag in his hand. Inside were a few packs of cookies and a photo. The photo was taken after the briefing. I stood at the entrance to the cultural center, holding a tape recorder in my arms, looking absolutely miserable. My father stood beside me, grinning as if he'd just found a brand new TV. The date and the names of 3 people are written on the back of the photo. Su He, Su Changshan, Cheng Yan. I asked, "Why do you write about yourself, too?" I took it. The person taking the photo is usually not in the picture. Cheng Yan was silent for a moment. There's a reflection on the glass door. I held up the photo to look at it. Sure enough, a blurry human figure was reflected in the corner of the glass door at the cultural center. All I could see was a white shirt and a camera. Cheng Yan. Huh? Are you going to the provincial capital, too? I signed up for a photography apprenticeship at the newspaper. Did your dad agree? No. Going back? Qing Yan looked at me. I'm afraid you might suddenly do something foolish, thinking you're the only one in the whole world who can leave home. The train has begun boarding. He helped me carry my luggage to the entrance, then stopped. I took a few steps forward, then stepped back. Qing Yan. He looked up. Take one more. Now? Now. I asked a passerby to take a photo for us. Qing Yan stood half a step away from me, not sure where to put his hands, and finally grabbed the strap of his camera bag. I teased him, saying he looked like someone who'd come to the station to catch a thief. Just before the shutter clicked, he smiled, too. That was the first photo we ever took standing together. After the train started moving, I saw him still standing in the same spot through the window. I didn't think of it as waiting. We'll all just head to our own places first. As for whether we'll ever meet again, no one knew at the time. My first year of college wasn't exactly a breeze. After using the scholarship money to pay tuition, I only have a little left for living expenses. I wiped down tables in the cafeteria, organized newspapers in the library, and proofread the school newspaper. Once, the editor typeset my byline as Sue He. I took the sample issue to my teacher. My classmates laughed at me, saying, "It's just one character, what's the big deal?" I said, "It matters." A correction was published in the second issue of the school newsletter. The correction was very brief, taking up only a small space, about the size of a tofu block. I cut it out and tucked it into my scrapbook. My father's repair shop wasn't for sale. His hands were shaking more and more noticeably, so he stopped repairing precision timepieces and focused solely on fixing radios and electric fans. The first royalty payment I sent back was only 12 yuan. My father wrote back saying that even 12 yuan counts as a royalty. He certainly didn't hold back. Qing Yan went to the newspaper office in the provincial capital. He rarely writes letters. The first letter was only 3 lines long. Apprentices don't get paid. The darkroom is bigger than my house. Don't send me any money, I won't starve just yet. I replied. Wiping tables at the college cafeteria gets you a free meal. I'll starve to death before you do. Later, his photos began appearing in the corners of newspapers. Signed Qing Yan. Every time I see it, I circle it with a pencil. During his junior year, he came to campus to film a job fair. Let's meet backstage at the auditorium. He was a little taller than he had been in the county seat, or maybe he was just standing up straighter. Are you seeing anyone? I asked. No. Why? Busy. What else? Can't speak. I laughed for quite a while. He waited until I had finished laughing before asking, "What about you?" Someone's chasing me. Qing Yan let out a soft "oh." Aren't you going to ask who it is? If you want to say it, you'll say it. I don't want to say it, okay? Then let's not talk about it. He still has that same frustrating look on his face. But for the first time, I realized that it's actually nice not to be questioned. After graduation, I joined a provincial newspaper. The first long-term topic is girls in rural areas dropping out of school. During the interview, I met a 17-year-old girl. The day before her college entrance exam, her younger brother took a fall and got hurt. Her parents wanted to take him to the hospital and asked her to skip the exam and stay home to take care of her other siblings. The girl sat at the bus station crying, saying she didn't even have a ticket to the county seat. I bought her a ticket and made arrangements at a guest house near the test center. She asked, "Reporter Sue, why are you helping me?" I said, "You only get a few chances in life." After saying that, I sat at the station for a long time. Qing Yan came up from behind, carrying his camera. He had just taken a photo of the girl getting into the car. Did you cry? No. My eyes are red. The wind blew it. He handed me a handkerchief. It has an advertisement from the newspaper printed on it, and after so many washes, the edges have become frayed. I wiped my eyes, but didn't give it back to him. After that article was published, a reader sent 30 yuan, saying they wanted to buy a ticket for the next girl who nearly missed her exam. Later, other people sent 5 or 10 yuan. We started a small column at the newspaper. Buy tickets and arrange temporary accommodations. I helped 3 people in the first year. One of the girls ultimately didn't pass the exam. She wrote in her letter that she doesn't blame anyone and plans to take the exam again. I pinned the letter to the wall in front of my desk. At the end of that article, I included a sentence I had written when I was 17. Opportunity doesn't guarantee success for everyone, but at least it gives people the right to decide where they're willing to fail. This time, it was signed Su-hee at the bottom. In the winter of 2003, Zhao Mingchuan sent me a package. Inside is a draft of a business memoir. The tentative title of the cover is Still Opportunity Won't Wait for You. The title page reads, Su-hee, we used to be the perfect team. As long as you're willing to come back, we can co-author this book. Zhao Mingchuan's business was just starting to pick up. It's not as fast as it was in my previous life. Lu Lan left Lanjiang and took a job as a sales promoter at a shopping mall in another city. Zhao Guifan still tells people that it was because I became too ambitious after going to college that her son has refused to settle down for so many years. Zhao Mingchuan expressed a great deal of regret in his letter. He said that without my articles, he'd tried several secretaries, but none of them could write what he wanted. I used to say I didn't understand the importance of bylines. He says he's willing to give me shares now. Every expression of regret has to do with losing my usefulness. I didn't edit it for him. It was returned exactly as it was. I wrote just 4 characters in the items section of the shipping form, manuscripts by others. When Qingyan found out, he asked me, "Aren't you going to keep this as a joke? It takes up space." What about the swap book? Keep it. He glanced at me. Do you still like it? I like the 16-year-old version of myself. That day, we had just finished an interview. The long-distance bus on the return trip broke down on a mountain road. The driver got out to fix the car, and the passengers huddled by the roadside to keep warm. Qingyan was sitting next to me, wiping the lens. I asked, "Where are you planning to go next?" Go with the topic. What about getting married? His hand paused for a moment. I haven't decided yet. You haven't decided on anyone yet? Qingyan looked up. Are you asking me? Is anyone else here? The middle-aged woman warming herself by the fire nearby immediately turned to look at us. Qingyan's ears turned red. He should have said less when he was nervous, but that day he explained a lot. They say journalists are often away on business trips. They say his income is unstable. He said he wasn't planning to go back to Lanjiang to take over the photo studio. It was agreed that if either party is transferred to a new job in the future, they cannot require the other party to give up their job. He said that if I don't want to get married, I can date first. As he was speaking, he stopped. Did I say too much? A little bit. Then just pretend you didn't hear that. No. I reached into the pocket of his coat. There's half a package of cookies left inside. The kind you find at train stations. I took one. Let's walk together for a while in the same direction. Qingyan looked at me and didn't move for a long time. I'm a little annoyed. Do you understand? Got it. Then why aren't you saying anything? I'm afraid I'll say the wrong thing. Just say the simplest thing. He thought for a moment. Okay. Just one word. He looks just like him. When he returned to the newspaper office, he gave me that group photo he'd taken at the station 5 years ago. The edges of the photo are already starting to yellow. The back only has the date and the two people's names written on it. Su He. Ching Yen. I tucked the photo into my press pass. The laminated edge revealed just those two names. Very close together. Neither one overshadowed the other.